Hello, I am Edgar Allan Poe. Today, because it's the spooky season, we're going to be talking about some very scary movies, all starring my favorite actor, Vincent Price. Um, First we have this box, which has only my stories. It's just that awesome. But we're going to let Erin talk about them because she's back there. She wants to talk about these movies. Okay. Hello. So yeah, got this box set for Christmas a few years ago. It's all Roger Corman movies, which are cheesy and great. Love them. But it did come with this poster. I wanted to show you guys. Poster. Yeah, it's like timeline of Vincent Price's life. Like, how cool is this? There he is with Kermit, and when he was on Batman in the bottom corner there. There we go. So yeah, everything in this box set is based off Edgar Allan Poe stories, which I grew up with. This was actually my mom's copy, and she had had memorized the Telltale Heart. So every year on Halloween, when I was little, that was a special treat when we were going to bed. Was she would recite Telltale Heart from memory. Um, a nice memory. All right, so box set. It is all these movies on one disc here. One disc that just fell out. There we go. Kind of basic, but extremely basic actually. It just has the movies, no special features whatsoever. Anyways, the first movie, Tales of Terror, is an anthology. It just has three different stories, basically like shorts, like half hour or so long. The movie's 89 minutes, so yeah, half hour or so. The first story is entitled Morella, which I didn't care for the story that much. I don't understand why they chose it. And the girl who plays the daughter is just, she's not good. Yeah, it it's just there. I'm happy this is three stories because if it was just the one, I would have been very bored the whole time. It's very cheesy and yeah, I don't care for Morella. It's basically like, oh, this lady died in childbirth and then cursed her daughter, and then her daughter came back to their house, and her ghost mom is trying to kill her. Like, it's like, really, really, Edgar, why? Um. Anyways, moving on. The second story is the Cask of Amontillado, um, which features Peter Lorre as well. So you got Vincent Price and Peter Lorre, and their screen chemistry is so great. I wish they had made like a million movies together. I don't understand why Hollywood took so long to figure out how good they were together. Because they were both in Hollywood making movies in the 40s, 50s. Why not till the 60s where they put together? Why? Um, Side rant. There's a fantastic scene where both Peter Lorre and Vincent Price are doing a wine tasting, and basically Peter Lorre is like this drunk guy, this alcoholic who's just trying to get more alcohol, and he stumbles in on this wine tasting, and he's trying to act like he's a great wine expert. Meanwhile, Vincent Price as Fortunato Lucrezi, which is just a cool name, he actually is a wine connoisseur, a wine expert, and Vincent Price makes these fantastic faces in there, and it's worth the price of admission, and totally makes up for the Morella story. The third in Tales of Terror is the case of El Valdemar, which has Basil Rathbone, who you might know from classic Hollywood versions of Sherlock Holmes. He was in a bunch of them as Sherlock Holmes. But so he's also in a bunch of movies. He's a really great sword fighter, so he's in swashbuckly movies from the 40s and 50s. But anyways, he plays a scientist who is trying to make it so Vincent Price's character can communicate after he has died. But it's for nefarious purposes. He's a nefarious scientist. It's like decently creepy. Like, it's a creepy concept. It kind of also makes me think a little bit of Doctor Who when they go to the library and have the little speakers where they can still talk a little bit after they've died. It's a little bit like that, but, you know, intentional and nefarious purposes. Yeah. And then next movie we have is Pit and the Pendulum, which terrified me as a child, but it's more that my mom read it to me, and I feel it's actually a more terrifying story than it is movie. The movie's really weak. Also, they changed a bit. Like, it's not during like the Inquisition at all. Those are like in flashback. It's like a later generation, and yeah, it's weird changes. It's probably that later costumes were cheaper, in all honesty. All right. And next on here, we have The Raven, which, as you can see, has Vincent Price, of course, Peter Lorre, and Boris Karloff, who is you'd best know from the classic Hollywood, I believe 1933 version of Frankenstein. He played Frankenstein's monster. There's also, he's not on the box, a very young Jack Nicholson is in this as well. He plays Peter Lorre's son. This movie is more comedy than horror by any stretch. But yeah, it has very little to do with the original poem. It's just there are occasionally like some lines from the original poem, like you can tell they liked the poem, if not that it might have been their favorite. But it plays pretty loose with it, and it's just silly. A nice little silly adventure. If you're looking for something to watch on Halloween, maybe that's not that scary, or at all scary, I should say, I recommend The Raven by Roger Corman. I am also going to link a YouTube video of Vincent Price reading The Raven, which was filmed in the late 70s, I believe. I didn't check the original date, which it's so good. He reads it so well. There's also a short film called Vincent, which is on YouTube, and I will be linking. Vincent was made by Tim Burton, and it's like all stop motion animation. But it's about this little boy who wants to be Vincent Price, and I watch it every year for Halloween. It's so cute, at least a couple times. Yeah, it was basically me as a child, except, I was a little girl. Anyways, next we watched, because 3 movies is not enough, we also watched The Fly. Um, One thing, oh, full disclosure first, I haven't seen the Jeff Goldblum one, so this is the only one I've seen. So I'm not gonna like compare and contrast those because I haven't seen it. I know, I really should. Anyways, like after watching the Roger Corman movies, the colors in this, I know, this black and white box though, the colors in this movie are just so vivid, and I'm assuming because this was made by 20th Century Fox, a big studio, and these guys were made by American International, which was the production company of Roger Corman. These are basically independent films. This big studio, which is now owned by Disney, but no, yeah, I mean this is also a Blu-ray, so of course it's gonna look a little better. But yeah, amazing film. It has really good music. Vincent Price actually plays like a supporting role. He is not the Fly. That is an actor named David Hedison, who actually does the commentary on here. I didn't watch it with the commentary though, because it's been a while since I watched it. There's also a film historian who does the commentary with him. Reading the special features now. There's a biography of Vincent Price, little documentary called Flytrap, which is about how this movie was made, as well as its two sequels, which was Return of the Fly and Curse of the Fly. Had never even heard of Curse of the Fly, but there you are. And then some like newsreel from the time. But yeah, this movie is actually older than these guys, and was really before Vincent Price like fully got into horror movies, which is kind of sad that he did, because he kind of got typecast, and he was just such a great actor. But yeah, the makeup for The Fly was done by Ben Nye, the makeup guy, who you regular viewers will remember that name because you take notes, right? He did the makeup on the original Planet of the Apes films, for which he won a special Academy Award because they didn't have competitive ones yet. And it's kind of malarkey that he didn't win something for this, because it is, especially for the time, a truly amazing makeup appliance. If on the back here you can see like the fly mask, like just in her eyeball there. Yeah, and yeah, highly recommend. I know it's not it's not Edgar Allan Poe, but he likes this too. It gets his vote of approval. Yes, I like this one too. There is a really annoying kid in the movie, but he's not in a lot of it. And the main thing that the scientist was trying to invent in the movie was basically a transporter. This predates Star Trek. So I'm like, Mr. Roddenberry, did you see this movie? Is this where you got the idea? And also, or maybe, alternative theory, maybe Bones watched this movie, Bones from Star Trek, watched this movie like as too young of a kid, and that's why he's afraid of transporters, because he's like, no, I don't want to turn into fly hybrid. But yeah, really iconic. If you haven't seen it, see it. But yeah, that's my little Vincent Price marathon rant. Hope you enjoyed. Yeah, there's a bunch of movies. There's actually several that I found on YouTube. I just didn't get around to watching them. I know I saw Dragonwick on there. There's another one, I can't remember its title, but there's a great one where Vincent Price plays like this old actor who's like murdering his old critics. Pretty good. Yeah, if you just search Vincent Price, if you're interested, you could find additional movies. These ones didn't seem to be on there. Anyways, hope you guys have a nice spooky season. Happy watching.